Cafe Heck.
Crazy? Please, Hitler's as sane as you or I, and a damn sight more effective. He's really more a political criminal. Casa Nostra with parliamentary seats. Herr Auer, come to join us for a beer?
In a sense. Could I speak to you privately?
Of course. Forgive me.
I was putting together the weekly report.
The right-wing violence?
Exactly, and some names showed up I wasn't expecting. I wanted to run them by you. See, most of the victims are...
Not so.
You recognize them?
A few.
Sources?
No, but they've been mentioned by sources. Never the focus of my investigations, but tangential to them. At least the ones I recognize, which are about half.
I'd like to see what Nightingale thinks.
That might be difficult. I can't reach him.
What? Is he one of the...
No. There's a dead drop. A month or two ago, there's a message in it breaking contact.
Do you remember what it said?
Something like, I am abandoning this drop, do not re-establish contact, Godspeed, that sort of thing.
And you never learned who he was?
No.
Shit.
Julius enters.
There you are. Any luck with the names?
None yet. And he doesn't know how to find Nightingale.
Birds float in the coop, huh?
Fuck you.
Wait, Julius, you're a decent artist, right?
Well, none of my poetry's been published, but I'd like to think...
I mean, you can draw, right?
I can doodle.
Think you can describe your Nightingale to him?
I could use a drawing to ask questions, figure out who he is, that's good.
It was neither good nor easy as we would have liked. We overestimated Goshawk's descriptive ability.
No, his eyes were more horse-like.
You mean his face was longer?
No, just his eyes. Horse-like.
What the hell does that mean?
It means they look like a horse's!
What, on the side of his head?
As well as Julius's artistic talent. Generally, both one's ears are the same size.
Do you want to try?
But eventually got a recognizable likeness of Nightingale.
I owe you a drink.
You owe me all the drinks. Now.
I'll make you regret those words. Dora! A picture, please.
15. A few evenings later, Goldschlag is locking the doors to the post for the night. Nightingale's been waiting for him.
What, are you trying to get me killed? What part of don't make contact is unclear?
Oh, don't scare me like that.
Scare you! If your artist friend has any good, was any good, I'd be so deep in shit I couldn't move my arms.
You are spooked.
Thanks for nothing. Now what's so goddamn vital?
I had some questions.
Well, I've got cell G breathing down my neck and no small things to use, so make it fast.
Cell G?
It isn't here yet.
Right. You know how we do reports on political violence? We saw some of the normal signs, but the victims are not so. Or at least associated with the Hitler Party. I recognized some of the names. I wanted you to tell me if they were connected. What's funny? You haven't even looked at the list!
I don't need to. The connection is cell G.
Well, that's twice you've mentioned it.
Hitler's cleaning crew. With elections coming up, they can't afford to let you bloody their nose again. There have been too many embarrassments lately.
Mainly you're doing.
What do you think I'm nervous? But it's wider than that. Leaks, intentional and otherwise, are everywhere. Cell G patches them.
The death squad?
More like a wide association of death squads. Himmler himself took a page from Lenin's handbook. Franz Schwarz provides the funding.
The party's ruling its own people through fear.
It's always been stick and carrot with them. Over the years, they found they liked using the stick.
That's awful.
It'll get worse. Think Cell G won't go away once they get the party in order? Mark my words. A terror is coming.
I never heard from him again. We published on Cell G. And 4 days later, a body washed up 20 miles downstream. Couldn't be identified.
Goldschlag starts to say something further, but stops himself. He reaches into his desk and pulls out a burned and battered notebook.
My one memento of the man who once sat at this desk. It's damaged and scorched, and most of it's quiet and neat and private. Except for the last entry. It's dated March 9, 1933.
It's over. Done for. Germany has been stolen from us. I suspect that this entry will be the last of my handwriting. I also suspect that, like me, it will not last very long. As a child, I was told history is written by the victor. While Hitler has proved himself victorious, I am convinced the platitude is inaccurate. The annals of time are written by those who think to write it down. In first century Palestine, Rome sent General Vespasian to quell the Jewish revolts flaring up across the Holy Land. One of the leaders of the Semitic rebels was a man named Josephus. After a long campaign, Josephus negotiated his surrender to Vespasian. No one knows exactly what was said, but the Roman was so impressed by his foe that Josephus was adopted into the family. When Vespasian later became emperor of all Rome, Josephus was left free to pen his own account of the Jewish wars. The account is riddled with what are either major errors or outright falsehoods, all of them in the author's favor. In most cases, though, there is no way to confirm the historian's accuracy, as there are no other accounts of the period. Students must instead take him at his word. I'll be damned if they take Hitler's word at anything.
Sun 16.
Howard and Martin still in there?
Yeah.
What are they saying?
I don't know. I haven't been eavesdropping.
Sorry. Well, what do you think? Are we fucked?
Thoroughly, I suspect.
230 seats. And Martin really doesn't have a plan.
I'm not sure there's a plan to be had.
Actually, that's a little liberating.
What are you doing?
My job. Care to join me?
They sit.
Not so murderers. Murderers in northern Germany.
We did the one thing we could do. We wrote.
Firebomb for social democratic journalists.
Week in, week out, a tally of the dead.
2 years of not-so-killings.
New victims for Brown Shirt's bloodlust.
Nothing happens in the movement without my knowledge. What is more, nothing happens without my wish. Adolf Hitler, 1923.
Not so terror against farmhands. 6 boys killed.
We remember today these boys and men, farmhands and politicians, died these last 2 years, whose blood lies under Hitler's boots.
Fascist murder comes to Parliament.
Gustav Schmidt, 22, of Mecklenburg.
Because Christmas is a time of peace, Nazis kill communists.
Max Lukin, 26, of Mecklenburg.
Martin,
I refuse to recognize his authority.
then at least recognizes power.
That man is no more a chancellor than I am a bishop.
Regardless, he's placed a
He
ban.
can shove his ban.
It's only temporary. Let's not give him an excuse to shut us down.
Damn his excuses. I'll print until I'm dead.
He who fights and runs away
Isn't worth the paper his articles are printed on. There are already lines in the sand, Julius. Watch where you put your feet.
Police give killers a slap on the wrist.
Friedrich Bonson, 45, of Saxony.
Germany today, no day without death.
Alfred Einart, 35, of Bavaria.
bloodbath in Dresden.
What Hitler doesn't tell his listeners. But now it's over. Done for. I think I hear boots. Hello, who's there? What are you?
Please, have Gruber sit.
The officer pours himself a glass of Gruber's brandy. From outside his office come the sounds of ransacking.
What are they doing?
Their duty. It is my regret to inform you, your paper has been prohibited. It's nothing personal. All opposition writings have been placed under a moratorium.
For how long this time?
Indefinitely.
What happened to court orders?
Could that have worked?
No.
You see, it is regrettable, but the country is fragile. Dissent would be catastrophic.
And we'll get a free press when we're good and ready?
Free? To do what? Slander? Foment sedition, consume resources, and attention better spent on actual problems?
You're a monster.
I am a patriot, Herr Gruber, as I would hope all Germans are.
Something big breaks in the other room.
That would be your press, I think.
Presses can be replaced.
Oh, I am well aware, which is why I must ask you to come with me.
I'd rather be shot here if you don't mind.
I have no intention of shooting you.
Go to hell.
With fearsome speed, the officer lands two sharp slaps to the face.
Your mother must be proud.
She is. I do what is best for Germany.
You do what's necessary for Hitler.
Hitler is necessary for Germany.
A soft orange glow comes from the other room. It flickers and grows brighter.
We really should be going.
You have a warrant for my arrest.
After you.
Gruber and the officer exit. The glow of the fire fades away. 18. The officer is leading Gruber out the back, just as Zerfoss enters from the front.
What are you?
He sees the officer, takes in the damage and the growing fire, and rushes Gruber's captor.